constitutes as labeling as disappointment. Yeah. Talking about Austin Rivers and Oladipo, and really it started from the Brandon Jennings and Jeff Teague beef.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you. I think both of their careers are more similar than they probably would think, as far as the level of players they were. So I don't even know why that beef is even here with us today.
Well, maybe it's a proper beef because they're at the same level. Like this is what we needed. These two guys beefing. It's like boxing. You're in the same weight class.
Okay, in the same weight class.
I mean, it's not like Jeff Teague trying to go at Giannis.
Right.
He's like, hey, two guys, that makes sense. You guys should beef it out. Why not? Nobody's outkicked the coverage in that matchup.
But like Jeff Teague is another guy. I think he got the most he could out of his career. Like he was a highly touted guy coming out, But I feel like he got the best out of his career. A little 6-foot guard, not athletic at all. Like I wasn't expecting him to be a damn, whatever, Baron Davis or Francis or or anything, like that.
Well, when was he drafted though?
I'm not sure. Not sure. Probably. What you think?
My gut's telling me outside the lottery. So
Jeff Teague draft.
See where he's drafted.
Yeah. I gotta mute that. Make sure. Outside the lottery, 19. Yeah. Oh, that's.
And see that.
That's one of our phones.
Yeah. So in that way, I would say, it probably is about right.
Yeah.
Outside the lottery guy that carves out at least a 10-year career. He had an All-Star appearance. But the thing Teague will tell you though is that he wasn't always his own best advocate in his career.
And Brandon Jennings was 10th. So maybe that's what the beef is. Like, you should have done more. Because that's kind of what he was saying in that video clip. Like, that Christian sent me. He was like, don't play me in my career like I wasn't never winning or on winning teams. That's kind of his, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But that's all so I hate debating. Because it's like, again, he was on a couple of okay teams. Like
who's that?
Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bucks were pretty good when he was there.
Yeah.
But it's like you never went to a conference final. You never went to the finals. Like, well, what's a winning team? How are we defining this?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things. I just when you're trying to have these debates, it's at the end of the day, it becomes like just circular nonsense.
It does, and there's so many other factors that really you only get to talk about when you retire, because it's like, but like, the team building, the fucking opportunities you get from the coaching staff. What if you get, you're not in a good relationship with your coach, all of that foolishness and all that good stuff. But you're back on the bench. On the Bench Podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We're available on all, and I do mean all, podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. All right. We got a dope show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about Kanye West going crazy again. He must have an album coming out soon. Jess Hilarious on The Breakfast Club. She's been trending like crazy since late last night. We got some Deion stuff, some March Madness stuff. I have another crazy story. Trump is making a particular group in America crazy. And we'll go from there, man. Go from there. All right. Let's start here since it is crazy trending right now. All right. The Jess Hilarious on The Breakfast Club, okay? She went out on her own platform last night and was talking crazy about the situation. Then this morning on The Breakfast Club, they kind of addressed it. Now, Breakfast Club is something I love. The Breakfast Club. I've always been watching it. Matter of fact, I love it so much that I go back to this day. I'll go back and watch like old interviews that they've had that are like, crazy or funny or interesting to me. The Dame Dash, the Webby. They got the best out of Kodak on a national level. In the interview. That was crazy good. And, that was with the old crew with Angela Yee. And then she had something happened to where she wasn't like what was going on. She went and had the opportunity to get her own platform or on another, whatever engine there. And then they kind of rotated through these people after Angela Lee left, and they were kind of not good to whatever. And then they stumbled upon Jess Hilarious, who is a comedian who kind of got her start on social media. All right.
How long has she been with the show?
She was with the show for a little while. Time wise, the time moves like a motherfucker, so I really couldn't pinpoint it without looking it up. But she was there for a little while, right? As far as just, they stopped rotating people in trying to find a replacement. They landed on Jess. When they landed on Jess, she was there for a while, doing good, doing solid, and then she got pregnant. When she got pregnant, she had to go for maternity leave. At the same time, around the same time frame that she got pregnant, had to go for maternity leave. That's when she was signing the contract to be a full time on the Breakfast Club.
Oh, she didn't have a full time.
No, she was in that rotating, phase.
Yeah.
Okay. She chose her replacement. Her replacement is the new girl that's on there now, and my bad because the name is replaced. I know the name, but it's just fucking killing me now. But when that happens, the new girl is just better than Jess, man, and everybody knows it. Everybody that watches it, and she's just, even though Jess is a comedian, this new girl is not. This new girl is funnier. She's better. Jess' segment is just with the mess. So her segment is like to get messy and tell, people business and stuff like that was her segment. And it did good and well while she was doing it. But the new girl had a different type of segment where it was just really reporting the news. You know what I mean? What's really going on, and that was it. But it was still like entertaining, informative, and it worked much better than what Jess was doing.
Did Jess make it back from this pregnancy?
She did. She made it back.
And then what did they do then?
Then what they started doing was they just started running with the four of them, right?
Okay.
When Jess came back, she's like, okay, hey, I'm back now. Like, she can leave. You know what I mean? Like, I'm back now.
Of course.
But they kept her around. And then what Jess is saying is, they gave her this, title of producer. But if you're a producer, why are you on the show? You're supposed to be in the background with our other, 7 or 8 producers. You know what I mean? They're never on camera. Why is she continue to be on camera? And even though, like I said, this morning they came and addressed it on air, I just thought it was a little weird for her to really be so adamant about it, saying like about that the girl that's on the show about everybody's talking smack and they like her and this and that, and like I said, it's just what it really comes down to is, unfortunately, she got pregnant at the wrong time. That happens, man. I'm a recruiter, and that happens. Like, people go on maternity leave, and I literally just did one last week. And the lady is going on maternity leave for whatever, 6 months, maybe a little less. And I just found her replacement, for the whatever 6 months. But sometimes that person comes in as a rock star employee. We have to make a decision at that point if that happens. Like if they go over and beyond, and you were like, just okay, we don't want to let this person go. We only got one spot. It's not like we're going to create another hire. Somebody got to go.
It's called being Wally pipped. In the New York Yankees baseball back in the 1920s, Lou Gehrig, have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So his predecessor was a guy named Wally Pipp. Wally Pipp got injured. They put Lou Gehrig in the lineup, and he played the next 2,100 baseball games. The longest streak until Cal Ripken passed it in like the 90s or 2000s. It's a Wally Pipp thing. If you create that opportunity for somebody else to shine.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, too, like Tom Brady's famous for this. He would take like every possible rep in Patriots practice.
Yeah.
He would not let the backups do much of anything. And his reasoning was, hey, Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and I took this opportunity and became what I became, and nobody's going to get that opportunity on me because I'm not going to put myself in that spot.
Yeah.
No, it's a lesson to be learned. I mean, like I said, if you're in a workplace, whether it's a public or not, like celebrity type thing, you being there and performing and not giving another opportunity to a person to show you that they might be better is one of the best things you can do.
Facts. No, facts, man.
That's funny. So where do things stand now? Is Jess still on the show?
Yeah.
And
there was
she
like
part of the breakdown this morning then?
Yeah, all of them were, which
Okay.
again was a little weird. Now there was a lot of rumors going around that like, oh, Jess is fired, she's fired. But like I said, she was there this morning. They was going over it, and they were like, well, where do we go from here? And basically they're saying they got to get with the bosses of the show and figure something out or whatever. But for me, it's fine with all four of them. I don't see a problem with it being all four, but Jess is just not that entertaining. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I don't know. She's not that funny or whatever. And not only that, the other girl looks way better. I mean, if and it's a radio show, but it's a radio show that's on TV. They're all over YouTube. The clips that go viral are the video clips that go viral on social media. So, and the other girl just looks better, man. And just has this like, this thuggery New York, slang and sound.
You like that?
No.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying.
Oh, Jess has that.
Jess has that.
Yeah. No, that's a huge. You mentioned Angela Yee. I could not stand the sound of her voice.
She had a different type, but
of
like
New York vibe, but yeah.
High, and also high pitched a little bit.
No, it was high pitched, but it was that New York slang.
Yeah.
And that was like dragging fingernails across the chalkboard. I could not stand hearing her voice. It was brutal.
Oh man, but yeah. So we'll see. How that goes.
Did anybody say anything outrageous during the show today? Like,
I mean, Charlamagne, he always has jokes and stuff, so he's making it funny. He's joking on it and stuff like that. Yeah. And Envy was the one that was kind of upset because Jess was going so hard at saying like, hey, y'all guys didn't have my back, and y'all just let people say anything about me, and this and that. And and a national comedian, Corey Holcomb, he actually like said this would happen. This exact same thing would happen. That's why his picture is there on the far left, way before this is even unfolded. And he just saw it happening because he doesn't
like he predicted that she would crash out.
He predicted that the other girl would like take her spot, and Jess wasn't funny, and this and that.
Okay.
Because he kind of and it was also funny that she was talking about all the comments that she's getting, and people saying that the other girl is better than her, and nobody's standing up for her. But her whole shtick is her talking bad about other people. You know what I'm saying?
And like,
you got to be able to take that.
What are the other hosts of the show supposed to do to defend her from comments that people make?
That's what they're saying. Saying just don't. Yeah.
There's no avenue to do anything.
Like they talk bad about them too.
Right. I've talked bad about Charlamagne before. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
Jess is from Baltimore, says Chris.
Oh, they have the worst accents. Okay.
I don't even know what a Baltimore accent is.
Yeah, it's a weird accent.
You're familiar with it?
I mean, it's like the nerves. She say something like she put slur on like the R's and P's. It's funny because I had an opportunity with this chick from Baltimore at Cookman, but I didn't pursue it. So that's the only.
Was the accent that threw you off? Or were there other reasons?
No, it wasn't other reasons. But yeah. So whatever. I appreciate that.
I gotta go find a Baltimore accent so I know what we're talking about.
Yeah, man. They in that what's that? That's not the. Hold on, where is Baltimore? Yeah, DMV area. Yeah. DMV.
Yeah.
DMV area. I'll be there in about a month or two, so maybe I'll report back and let you know.
I was gonna do some independent research, but I appreciate your efforts. Keep me updated.
Oh man. All right, let's go along here. Let me pull this thing up.
Chris
here.
says to ask a Baltimore person to say "two."
Tur. They're gonna say something like,
oh, really?
And that's how it sounds, Chris. Tur, something like that. They put a slur on stuff, man.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
You know who's a Baltimore guy? Is Magic Dorsey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's got a little accent we got to pay more attention to.
No, he didn't have one on the show.
I didn't feel like it, but maybe I just missed it.
Yeah, he didn't have one on the show. Okay. To another crazy thing is Kanye West. He's been on a tweet tirade, and it's been going crazy, man. It initially started now with him just talking about, his baby mama and the stuff that he's going through with her. That led to like,
Does he have a new baby mama? Or
no.
Kim Kardashian?
Kim.
Okay.
Talking about Kim and, getting the kids from her, stuff like that. And then he got into some other stuff, man. The Jay-Z and the kids and Dame Dash and Cardi and all of this stuff. So he's like, oh man, what he said? He said it's gonna be. I can't really say the words, but he was talking about. Okay, here it goes. Hold on. Well, right here he's talking about. I feel like I never made it. My mom would still be alive. I thought about killing myself at least once a month since my mama was killed in her surgery. Oh man, he's just talking about everything, man. And he's talking about Jay-Z's kids. Now Jay-Z and Beyonce on the other end, F those coon ass N-words and their entire family. I'm trying to find the one where he talked about. He said the R word, which you can't say. Don't say it, okay? But he called Jay-Z. He said, "Why nobody ever sees the young R word twins? Jay-Z and Beyonce twins." And my thing about that is, man, I'm usually on like Kanye's side with things because he's like he's like so far left, but sometimes he goes like so far left to where he's not even on like the page anymore. And
It's quite often in my book.
you gotta leave kids out of it, man. I don't care what you're gonna come out and say you're going through mentally and all of this and that. Just delete your shit then if you know that's you have a problem or something and you can't stop yourself from tweeting, crazy stuff like this. And then he's saying, Jay-Z gonna come and kill me. I hope he doesn't, and or maybe he'll get Drake's shooter to come do it, and now he's bringing Drake shooter into it, the guy he named him, the 25 guy, which is also crazy because like there's an active case going on to where people think Drake hired a shooter to kill people, one including Triple X from Miami.
Yeah.
Okay, so Oh, here it goes. Wait, has anyone ever seen Jay-Z and Beyonce's younger kids? They're the R word. No, like literally. And this is why artificial insemination is such a blessing. Having R children is a choice.
I don't even know what R word we're talking about now.
The R, like you're, special.
Mentally challenged?
Yeah, mentally challenged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
So has anyone ever seen Jay-Z and Beyonce younger kids? They're mentally challenged. No, like literally. And this is why artificial insemination is such a blessing. Having mentally challenged children is a choice.
What is the connection? Like so
he said they didn't have
natural.
Yeah.
But were the first kids, the older kids were natural.
Yeah.
And then they wanted more kids, but they couldn't have them, so then they go.
That's what he's saying. Nobody.
I'm trying to just to get into the logic of what he's saying. So then he's saying they went the route of insemination and essentially got a bad result.
Yeah.
Okay. And now they kind of shutter these children from the public eye.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know.
I know.
Like, I guess when you're listening to him do this stuff, like, what lens do you see this through? Is Kanye a mentally damaged person that cannot control himself? Is Kanye some renegade with a lot of actual knowledge that is telling us stuff that will ultimately be true and we're not ready to hear it? Or is he just calculatedly doing this stuff to promote ultimately himself and his next project?
Yeah.
It kind of depends, like, how am I viewing this? Is this like literally an unhinged mentally ill guy just doing mentally ill stuff? Or is there like some sort of calculation to this, either self-promotion, or is he actually revealing truths about people that people are not comfortable accepting?
Yeah.
Where do you fall on that? Because I feel like if you have gone for him in the past.
Yeah.
Like, you have to feel on some level that there is some knowledge or brilliance or genius to what he's doing if you're going to ride for him. If you think it's all just his own mental illness and he can't control himself from doing this, like then it's kind of like, well, how can I ride for that? Because there's really no meaning.
Well,
to it.
no, I told you I ride for some of the stuff, but some of the stuff I can't ride for at all, which is, like I said, the damn, you can't bring kids into it, man.
Yeah.
And that's your worst enemies of enemies. I don't agree with dragging children into the play. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter what he's doing it for. The act itself is already out of bounds, crossing the line to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
in that particular.
But in general, like outside of just that kid's comment, outside of that, because he had 40 or 50 crazy tweets from there. I think it's a mixture. I think it's a mixture of him actually knowing stuff, and I think it's also a mixture of he has to have something coming out soon. When all of that, the Kim tweets and stuff that was coming out, and I can't see my kids, and this and that, and this, whatever, he was cussing her out and talking crazy about her. Then he drops a song with talking about that stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that goes hand in hand. Now, does he have a project coming out? You know what I mean? And that would make more sense. As far as him trying to draw up, whatever. But sometimes it's him drawing up attention and stuff, stirring it up for his. But I do agree with some of the stuff he says. I still stand on, I believe slavery was a choice. Like I am on that wave. You know what I mean? And I said it before I even knew who Kanye was. You know what I mean? So some of those things I'm behind, and I just always believe myself anyhow. And then some things it's like, all right, Kanye, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you get your medicine or delete the app, whatever you got to do, because these are things to where, like, I'm sure Jay-Z will rub it off, but
rub one out.
But it's like, he's not going to respond to it publicly, but
yeah, there's really no good to.
It's no, to yeah. So I don't effing know what happens from here, So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me really quick here. Hold on. Let me see here. Where we at? One second. I'll tell you what. Don't forget our sponsors here, Royal13thebrand.com. Again, that is Royal13thebrand.com. Use promo code BubbaPink and be fresh here heading into the summer. All right. Now let's go into what was that? We just had 2 non-sports topics. Is it time for sports?
It could be time for sports. We haven't touched sports yet.
Yeah.
Other than our little opening.
I'm about to say, the little opening.
The impromptu opening. It's not planned, just happened organically. As all good things should.
I'm going to tell you what, because I've been answering some texts here. So really quick here on the NBA. These teams have been losing. For example, when 2 stars or more, or 2 or 3 starters are out, for a team. For example, Golden State Warriors. Okay, Steph Curry was out, another starter, and they just beat Milwaukee Bucks. You had the Denver Nuggets with Murray, Jokic, and Brown out. They beat Golden State.
Yeah.
And so forth and so forth, right? And just, what I told somebody yesterday from a gambling standpoint is this, and I've been on this for about 4 or 5 years now. I heard this from somebody on YouTube about 6 years ago. In the NBA, whenever 2 or more stars are out of the lineup, always bet with that team that first night, that first game.
The first night.
And it's the hungry bench mob mentality. No matter what you think of their bench, no matter what you think of, they're all bums or whatever. Because like Golden State, who can you even name on their bench? But probably not a ton of guys.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Those guys are going to come out and play so hard and so hungry against that other team. They almost always cover or even basically win. And this year the percentage is like nuts. But even over the course of the past, as I've been tracking it the past 5 years, that's been the case. But it's still so weird to me. And what Vegas will do is once these guys are named out, for example, Denver Nuggets were -2 tonight. That was with them presumably in -2 Denver Nuggets. Now the Lakers are -5. That's almost an 8-point swing. Okay.
Because why?
Because Jokic and Murray were just ruled out literally like 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Okay. They were just ruled out. So this is back-to-back games they're going to sit out. And then also you got the playoffs are coming. Our team's trying to get these guys rest.
But you're saying the Nuggets were -2.
Yeah, there's two things I'm talking about here. Yeah.
Lakers are now -5, so they've went from being an underdog going into the game to a pretty good favorite.
Yes.
But the Vegas rule would have us roll with the Nuggets.
Boom. I'm glad you mentioned that. Only the first time.
First game.
Yeah. Always, I just told somebody, literally, I was just texting her back. Now it's time to take the Lakers. You ham on the Lakers. The bench mob had their game. They had their moment. They're fun. They won. They balled out. Bench players are bench players because they're inconsistent. You're going to smash the Lakers now. You know what I mean? And probably literally if you're a woman. And or whatever. And
whatever.
and that's how it goes.
You're out here uncovering people as gay. Why not members of the Lakers?
Now that's one element of it, the gambling element. But what really was more interesting to me is like, how do these teams allow? How do a full Milwaukee Bucks team, a full whatever, Denver Nuggets, how do you allow yourself to lose to an undermanned team when you need the win?
It does go to kind of what you said. There was another interesting story. Like for me, I thought there was some video of the White Mamba, Brian Scalabrine, playing like one-on-one pickup with some dude outdoors, and it was extremely physical. And then Matt Barnes gave a little context to that matchup. I don't know if you saw that, but he's like, this dude is like a guy that he doesn't have a real playing resume, but he's a pickup guy and he's physical and he fouls the crap out of people, and this is what he does, and he kind of just mauls people to death. But it's like Scalabrine, who's a real NBA player, not a great NBA player, kind of went out there and beat the guy at his own game, had him frustrated and quitting and everything else. And Barnes' point was this: it's like, you take a guy like Scalabrine, who they played in college together, he might have been a deep bench guy in an NBA setting, but he's a real basketball player. And there's dudes throughout the league that can really play in comparison to average humans, even guys that, there are levels to this. And so the guys are in the league have ability. But you're right. Inconsistency controls opportunity for most of these guys. But if you come out and you've been playing, 8 minutes a game, or maybe taking some DNP CDs, and you get a word at 5 o'clock that you're maybe starting or you're going to definitely play a considerable amount, you get excited. You get hyped up. You're ready to go, and you're going to put on that effort. You got something literally to prove to every team in the league that given the opportunity you can produce. And yeah, you're probably a little pissed off, like you got a small role on a team, and fuck it, tonight I'm going. and there, that can carry you. And then to that other point though, you're going to go into that game motivated. Your bench mob, it's 2, 3, 4, you guys getting a better opportunity, like it's your game 7. And the other team, full of starters, was, probably going through the day thinking, I got my matchup with Jokic, here's what I want to do, this is what and suddenly, 2 hours, hour before the game, he ain't even playing. Like, now I got to match up against whoever, and I'm not really excited to do that. And, it's that thing. And then when you get in a game, and a team's playing well, and we're about to start March Madness. We're going to see that happen at the college level.
Yeah, plenty.
Once you get in a game and give a team an opportunity and they believe they can win, you got something to deal with on your hands. But the truth is, the inconsistency's there, and if you have to roll that lineup out, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, it's going to get exploited. People, they know going into the night, hey, this is who's available for them, and this is what we're going to be able to do with them, and make them uncomfortable.
Yeah. Even it was an article came out this morning, like Doc Rivers pulls Giannis and Lillard in after the game into his office and talk about what happened. Like, they're pissed that they lost to a underman, whatever, Golden State team.
Yeah.
Jimmy was still out there, Jimmy and Draymond, but still no Steph, no a couple other star role players.
Yeah.
That always kills me. But I guess that is the right reasoning for it, and back up for it for sure.
But when you have an elite team, or you think you have one, like you're elite because you don't subject yourselves as much to those kind of night in, night out effort things.
Yeah.
That you kind of have a standard night after night, that you're just locked in and you're rolling and you're playing to your standard, and you're not like, oh, who are we playing tonight? That's when you go back to like the 73-9 Warriors. Like, they just got locked in at a level that was just like, hey, I don't care who we're playing. We're going for the throat.
Yeah.
And and that's where you want to be. The realistic thing is most people don't have the mentality to do that for 82 games or more. And
it has to be damn near impossible.
Yeah.
Like, because it's rare for a team to do that. OKC, for the most part, has done that. Even the Cavs are slipping here down late here in the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has to be tough to do. No, that's for sure. All right. I wanted to talk a little bit about Deion here. Okay. Okay, here it goes. So there's two things here. Number one, this is the news story today. He says, I ain't worried about me. Let's get everybody else straight first. Then I'm good. Talking about his contract extension, because it is contract extension time for Deion. He's been there a few years now.
2 years.
Yeah, a few seasons now. Now it's time to start talking about a contract extension. And this is it's funny because Colorado needs Deion for several reasons. Number one, they were in the dumpster before he got there, right? It's in the dumpster before he got there. And then on top of that, he brings so much like attention and money to the town and to the school and so even from that standpoint alone, I think you should be backing the Brinks truck up. You know what I mean? Unless, and it's a dirty world, it's a dirty game, but unless you believe that Deion has gotten you back into prominence on a national level and you can get a better football coach in there now you're talking something different. What do you think?
My take on it is a little bit different. I'm not sure like who's to blame or why this extension's not happening. My view on it, because again, I didn't think Deion would coach this coming season, is when Shadur leaves, if I'm Colorado and I like what's going on, my thought is I want to get in front of extension talks with Deion then, because not only am I going to lock him, reward him for the success he's had, his response to extension talks is also going to reveal to me his commitment and interest to doing this longer term.
Yeah.
And so that, if he's the one, and there could be a scenario where Colorado maybe wants to talk about this, and Deion saying, well, hey, let's bring Marshall Faulk in at running back coach, and let's bring this other guy in and do this. I think they just hired another guy, I thought, today. I can't remember.
Yeah. Marshall Faulk. Oh, you're talking outside of Marshall Faulk.
I saw the other day.
Yeah.
And then there was another guy that was a pedigreed either player or coach that they're bringing into that situation. And it's like he's loading up this staff. And again, these guys aren't going to work for free, so I'm sure there's some costs there.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing, it still comes down to Deion in this sense. Is he basically creating this staff and all this situation where he could back out of this thing?
Yeah.
And just say, hey, give it to my top guy. He's experienced. He's great. You'll love it. And I'm going to go. Because, again, the other way to do that is, and the way a lot of coaches do it is, I'm going to sign my extension, and part of my extension is going to include a guarantee of a certain budget for assistant coaches and that sort of thing. But if Deion's the one pulling the strings on this, it's kind of interesting that he's taking this approach. And kind of putting himself behind the show on this. And again, if you're Colorado, I'd be a little uneasy, because obviously we're going out and hiring these assistants that Deion's telling us to hire, but we don't necessarily have his commitment in terms of him signing an extension.
No, for sure. For sure.
So I think there's it's a very interesting situation.
It
There
is.
could be a lot to it when you kind of look at it.
Is it fair for Colorado to say to say, hey, we need you to do better on the field? You know what I mean? And or we may not be moving forward with you.
I don't think that's what they're saying, and I don't think they're in a great position to say that.
Right, that's what I mean.
Because of this, though, and we talked about this in other segments of the show. Like, for over 2 years as head coach, they've had steady progress.
Yeah.
They got, went from 1 win or whatever to 4, then to 8 or 9 this year. And so there's progress there. Now, you just lost some real dudes to the NFL.
Right.
And is this roster better than the roster you had last year? Can we really expect, going from 8 wins to maybe 10 with this roster? I'm not sure you can. I mean, part of me feels the most realistic scenario is success for Colorado would be another kind of 8-win season, but while showing more depth of roster and more talent, more sustainable talent across the roster, not just a couple crown jewels and some regular dirt. I think that would be a measure of success. Hell, if you can get 10 wins, that's a great job. But I going into this, if Deion gets 8 wins again and shows that this roster is getting deeper and more complete, I think that's demonstrable success.
No, for sure. Now, on the other side of things, of course, what was that? About last week, Deion was saying he wanted to, choose another school to go up against for their spring game or a joint spring game or joint spring practice or whatever you want to call it. Now, Syracuse, you got some, Syracuse as far as the, some of the guys on the team and coaching staff, stuff like that. They're trying to make that happen. They're stepping up, they want to make that happen. And I'm sure there'll be other schools lined up as well if he wants to make that happen, if it can, logistically. Not even sure.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a rule in place that would prevent that at this point.
Because we haven't really seen that as much.
No,
the NFL does it often.
Well, I would say this, like my son played soccer in Division I. Now, the soccer season is the fall, just like football. Now, in the spring, they were able to play 4 or 5 games. They didn't count to anything, but you went and played other schools. You only did that about 4 or 5 times in the spring. So it's permissible in soccer to a degree. So I don't know if there's a specific rule prohibiting it. I like the idea a lot. I think for a couple reasons. A lot of times with the spring, when you actually get to the spring game, a lot of schools do different stuff where they don't really make it a competitive game. A lot of schools don't play their better players very much at all and just kind of create it to be some kind of weird showcase. I'd prefer to see a game. I'd prefer to see a game against. I always wanted a Garnet goal game, good against good. Let's play, mix up the rosters a little bit, and play a 4-quarter game. That doesn't happen. But say, hey, Colorado, we'll go play Syracuse. Let's fill the stadium one time in the spring and have some fun. And show where you're at. Yeah,
we'll see if they are able to do that. The Gators, that's what they do. Kind of the whatever, split the teams up and have a game. Yeah. They've been doing that for as long as I can remember.
Do they play that like a true game, like special teams kickoff, like one team wins, one team loses?
It's kind of how they do it is whatever the coach wants. So he creates situations. They do things like that, but they do keep score. They do keep stats.
Yeah.
But yeah, special teams, offense, defense, all of that stuff is there in it. But it's not a traditional football game. No.
Yeah.
Now my idea for Deion is to do the spring game against an HBCU. Right?
Solid.
Yeah. And the thing about it, I've thought about this in a bunch of different ways because I know some people will be like, well, competition-wise, how are you really getting better and stuff like that? Well, a lot of these Division I schools, even much better than Colorado, they play HBCUs their first game anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? Miami has been doing it for God knows how long, just beating up on us. And although our year, Bethune-Miami, there was a tie game pretty much into the fourth quarter. That's the highlight of my life.
Your life.
And yeah, man.
Wow.
I kind of got blown out after that, but hey.
Bubba had 0 snaps played in his life.
I was there, though, as a reporter. Okay. But, you know, I just think, you know, given, you know, it just, I think that would be a great gesture. He doesn't have to do it. He doesn't owe anything to anybody. But I just think that would be a great gesture and great for both teams and both sides. I think that would work well.
Yeah.
For sure. Now,
play against the guy who said he wasn't swag.
I whoop up on him, right?
Invite his team out to Boulder.
Beat the dog crap.
That would be funny.
Have his players leaving out on stretchers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the last thing before we get into some March Madness and stuff like that and the story, you know, Eddie George left, you know, whatever, 2 weeks ago or something to Bowling Green. Eddie George was, you know, a coach of at HBCU, Tennessee State, where he played predominantly his you know, NFL career at. And, you know, Eddie was there for what, maybe 3 or 4 seasons, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I deem, and I told you this over the phone, but I deem the Eddie George situation to be different than the others. I think Eddie, you know, did a lot for, you know, HBCU, especially with that lawsuit, engineering, and backing and being the voice for that lawsuit that got HBCUs over 100 million, you know, whatever. You can look that up. It was HBCUs were underfunded by $1 billion in the states as far as state funding. That's just fucking nuts. And that alone, kind of, I just don't give a damn what he did from there, because that was enough, you know. And but being there and turning around that program, and he was never a face. He kind of was just there quietly, just doing his thing, and you know, and that was it. You know, Deion overshadowed him. Now Vic and Deshaun Jackson was overshadowing him as he was still technically a coach at Tennessee State. All of that stuff. A lot of people forget Eddie George was even a coach at HBCU.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He maintained a very low profile.
Yeah.
And seemed, you know, very in tune with just doing that job and being the best that he could be for Tennessee State without trying necessarily to be, you know, some bigger ambassador of HBCU football.
Yeah. No, 100%. Now he's going to Bowling Green. Now, I didn't think necessarily that Eddie George had turned around Tennessee State that much that he can turn it into what he would deem to be a better coaching opportunity, but that's what happened. We'll see what happens at Bowling Green. And which is, you know, a tough program in itself.
If I recall correctly, I think that's where Urban Meyer got his start. Head coach there.
Yeah.
So.
He went from Bowling Green to Utah.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Utah to Florida.
And I want to say there's another high-profile
that got it started at Bowling Green.
That started coach early at Bowling Green.
So it is highly possible. So maybe that's the you know, the stomping ground.
The pathway to greatness.
So. And now he maybe created a new pathway to greatness.
Yeah.
You know, HBCU to Bowling Green, and then there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Where you want to go? March Madness?
Sure, why not?
Let's go to March Madness.
Say I'm glad I have a TV in the office.
Yeah? You watch the games in your office?
Well, the games will start at 12:15 tomorrow.
They're always early.
Yeah. Thursday and Friday are, like, in some ways, they're the classic days of March Madness because you have games all day, beginning at 12 and probably ending about midnight by the West Coast game. Some of the games will be crap because of bad matchups, but you'll also have a handful of games that are really dramatic and fun to watch.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll catch more of those than the others. You know, it's funny because, like I said, Roger sent me the thing to get into his bracket and fill out a bracket and stuff like that, but I always turn him down for, like, whatever, the past 5 or 6 years. He's been doing it forever. And it's because, like, I wasn't really paying attention to college basketball that much until March Madness in those years.
Yeah.
This year, because in college basketball, like, whatever, it is what it is. If the Florida Gators are good, I'm watching more college basketball. If they're not good, I'm kind of not watching college basketball. You know what I mean? Unless there's like a superstar out, Zion or whatever. and I'll tune in then. But this year I've been watching more of college basketball, and I kind of understood the landscape a little bit more, so I got into it. So yeah, I will be interested to see like how things shake out, because there's some, and then we have some coaches that we like. You know what I mean? I've been sharing, Rick Pitino, clips with you. You got John Picavage sending us, coaching names to look out for and teams.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of been a little easier to keep up with this year.
For sure.
A lot of people are saying too, they're talking about this Rick Pitino thing, and I actually was listening to Rob Parker on Fox Sports Radio, and he was saying how it's impossible for him to root for Rick Pitino.
Why?
Well, Rick got into a bit of trouble. You remember, right? Well, first of all, Rick has been in quite a bit of trouble, right? And left the last school. And the first thing I remember ever happening is not the first thing, but major thing that I remember happening is when at the restaurant with that lady.
With 6 seconds of penetration.
But he was married or whatever.
Quick Rick.
But and he's saying that a leader of men can't do that. But my thing is this: those are two grown people. It wasn't rape. The lady said, "Hey, yeah, I wanted it too," and whatever. So it wasn't anything. It wasn't no funny business.
She just wanted it a little longer than he gave.
But apparently he paid for those services. Now you move it to the next thing that happened, which he was fired, he was let go, but he wasn't really what's the word I'm looking for? Caught on any wrongdoing, which is the students.
And we're talking about the Louisville situation.
The Louisville situation with the boys. They were basically prostitutes were coming in on these visits and having sex with the boys.
Servicing the recruits.
And then
when you talk about the recruits, some of these kids may be minors, essentially. It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. Now, my thing on that, and that is a bad thing, right? But number one, that's been going on before. That doesn't make it right or wrong, but that's been going on before the times. Not necessarily prostitutes, but we all know that when recruits come on these college visits, the coaches have the players that are on the team bring girls in.
Well, I learned everything that I know about college basketball recruiting watching He Got Game.
There you go.
And Ray Allen had a Snow Bunny threesome, didn't he? You remember that?
I do.
You were jealous, right?
I could go for one right now.
Yeah.
Talking about I want one Snow Bunny, 3. God, shit. I can only imagine. Now again, doesn't make it right, but what I'm saying is it doesn't make him damn R. Kelly or something, and he was never really caught up in the madness of the wrongdoing. He was just the head coach for the team that was happening on,
and ultimately had to take the fall for it.
Yeah, ultimately had to take the fall for it. Now, it's hard to believe he wouldn't have known anything about it, especially with him having transgressions in the past with prostitutes. I mean, it's kind of like, hey, if you can smell shit, it's probably shit around. But
or at least a fart.
But again, I just don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I say all that to say I want to feel good about rooting for Rick Pitino and advancing that team in my bracket. All right.
Rick Pitino is, he's on the absolute pantheon of college basketball coaches. He's up there, but he's done it in a very unique way.
Yeah.
He started like the Cinderella story. He made the Final Four in 1987 with Providence College and a point guard named Billy Donovan, who's now the Bulls coach, and himself a 2-time national champion in college basketball with the Gators. And he got to Kentucky and built probably one of the strongest dynasties of the modern era with the talent that he had coming in and out of Kentucky every year. He coached the Knicks. Then he left Kentucky to coach the Celtics, and then kind of comes back in and builds Louisville up and wins a title with them. Then everything goes to hell there. He ends up in Greece coaching local legend Nick Kalathis. And then he makes his way back in at Iona, coaching Walter Clayton Jr., who's the Gators point guard,
yeah.
All-American there. And then he gets to St. John's, and he's got them as a super high seed in this tournament, Big East Conference champions. This dude wins, and gets shit done. And just an amazing coach. And you have to look at this, he's old.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of accomplishments. And part of you would be like, why isn't this guy just chilling, being a commentator, riding off into retirement? He takes the St. John's job, which was nothing. They haven't won a Big East title in 30 years until this past weekend. They don't have great resources. They don't have cool facilities. They don't have a lot of stuff. But he goes there and wins.
With the expectation to win.
Well, if he arrives.
For himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he knows he's going to win.
That's crazy.
I'm Rick Pitino. I'm going to win. That's what it is. And so I have just a lot of respect for his career. And again, the transgressions are what they are. He's not a perfect human being. And again, in some level, you could probably say, maybe if he wasn't as ambitious in his own way, maybe when he got that Kentucky job, he just should have stayed there for 30 years.
Yeah.
And be coaching Kentucky now and have more wins than Coach K.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't what he wanted to do. He wanted the challenge to do these things. And I think, we talked earlier about evaluating careers and stuff like that. Again, it's not John Wooden with the 10 titles. It's not Coach K with, or Dean Smith with
wins.
30 or 40 years at the same school doing great things and winning all these games. But this dude wins, man. And to see him at this stage of his career, at this stage of his life, bring a team into the tournament that is ready to make some noise and fight. Gotta love it. Gotta respect it. I'm rooting for him to do well in this tournament. And I have just a lot of respect for him as a basketball coach.
Yeah.
And you go back in time, he was those Providence teams. They were not super athletic guys, but he bought into the philosophy of full court pressing back then, which became the way to play. And he was also a huge proponent of 3-point shooting. Back in the 80s. Back in the day,
yeah.
And he had his teams pressing, trapping, pushing the ball up, taking open threes, and playing in a frenetic, great style. I got a lot of respect to him, and I think you're kind of short-sighted on trying to nitpick and critique him too much for all that he's accomplished in the game.
100%. 100%. You were wrong on that, Rob Parker. Okay. And
eat a bag of dicks, bitch.
And that's coming from, and he's a guy that goes to strip clubs a lot. It's a deeper
Rob Parker?
Yeah. Okay. It's a deeper issue, a deeper topic, the prostitution thing. But that's also to me, it's just not really even a big thing, because when you really narrow it down, if you're interested in women, you're paying for the coochie. You just are.
We've said that all the time.
No matter how you dress it down, turn it down, he's just doing it in a more simplified and quicker fashion.
You think that weekend away in Miami is free? You think that big dinner at Ruth Chris, that's not paying for something?
Come on, man. Think about it. He's at a restaurant. You know how many guys were there at that same restaurant with some woman that they have interest in, spending whatever, $100, $150, $200, $300 on that meal, you know what I mean? And the effort it took to get there to the date and all of this you're going to do. That guy is looking for sex. Rick beat all of that and just said, hey, instead of spending $300-$400 on his night, I'll give you $150. Let's get straight to it. I only have 6 seconds in me. And then it's over with. What is the difference, really, honestly?
Yeah.
There is none, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, whatever. It is tricky with the kids. I understand that. But it's not a R. Kelly, Michael Jackson kids type thing. You know? All right. Now,
they don't call it the oldest profession in the world for nothing.
Yeah, man, I be watching those old 1800 shows that are set in that time, and it's back then too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Who do you got taking it all in your bracket?
Who do I have taking it all? I don't know, but I'm gonna ride for Duke.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ride for Duke. I think they've been disrespected by somebody in my office, so I'm gonna roll with Duke. At the end of the day, they've got the best player. They're 31-3. They've lost 3 games by I think like a combined 12 points. Like this is a damn good basketball team, and I know Cooper is a little bit injured right now, but he's expected to play. And even if he's not full strength through the first round, he'll get stronger and stronger as the tournament goes.
Yeah.
I think that's a team to beat.
No, for sure.
I always feel real comfortable if I'm playing and I've got the best guy on the team on the floor on my team.
No, 100%. I was like I said, I was watching that last game that they had. I'm trying to quickly look it up because I was watching it live, and I wanted to text the group with me, you, and Juan in it.
Yeah.
Because as I'm watching, Cooper is not. He wasn't really scoring in that game at all. And I was looking, and I was going to text like, man, even though Cooper is not like scoring or being aggressive, he's still clearly the best player like on the court. You can just see it. The things that he's doing, everything else. And let me see here. He had in that game, let me see. It doesn't even show it here. But he's just the passing ability, rebounding, defense, and the energy that he's bringing. That's what I look for, because I thought about this too on a deeper level, and it's probably spanned to a couple other NBA players, so I'll get off of that. But like, I think the more and more I really thought about this is a deeper topic here, because I think max players in the league should only be guys who are playmakers for their team, or like the elite of the elite scorers, okay? And I think that is it. That is so important. Like Jokic, and this is why the Tatum thing, like Tatum is great, Jokic is great. What makes Jokic that much greater, the reason why he's a real superstar, is his ability to play make, and you can run an offense through him, and he makes everybody better. Literally, that people just say that, like Westbrook with the Clippers. To me, that's not what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, he had a high assist, 10 or 11 assists. An assist man is not that doesn't make you a playmaker and make everyone better. That's not those two are not the same thing. They're not synonymous or whatever. Hopefully I used that word correctly. You know what I mean? And I think Cooper is one of those guys who could develop, once he gets to the NBA, into a playmaker. Also, the third guy I was swinging at, if you're a really good two-way elite player, Kawhi in his prime of prime, what we think maybe, or definitely what you think maybe Victor Wembanyama could turn into. Like the elite, of course Jordan was that guy. The elite two-way guy. So those are 3 guys. The playmaker, the elite scorer of scores, the Kobe Bryants, you know what I mean? And the elite two-way guys, the Kawhi in his prime and whatever. What do you think about that?
I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, the standard for superstardom, to me, is winning at the end of the day. And when you look at the types of players you're talking about, whether it's like a playmaking guy who's going to basically allow you to operate a multiple layered offense through him alone, or it's like an elite scorer that can just put up so many points that can turn games, or the two-way star. The key with the superstar level player is that they almost always impact winning, because their impact, whatever of those 3 categories it comes through, it's at such a high level that it moves the team forward. And I have a hard time with guys that accumulate a lot of stats and their team is always just kind of And right now, like, I look at a guy like Trae Young, I look at a guy like Paulo Banchero, and the stats are great. But what is the result of all that?
That's tough. I can't look at it from a winning lens, because you got guys who win a lot who want to be, like a superstar. That's not the same. Like I said, just the guy we just named, like Jason Tatum. Like, he's not the same level of guy as a Jokic. Jokic might go out in the second round this year. Tatum might win the championship. I mean, I know you can say might about anything, but those are like literally what happened last year. But that doesn't make Tatum better just because he's winning and Jokic is not.
And there is a fine point to this. It's not. I don't want to come off brand and say that winning a championship is not important, but like a healthy Jokic, his team's never going to be bad. Like they're never going to be a 30-win NBA team, a 35-win NBA team.
But you can say that about a ton of stars, though.
Then they're stars. Like I get Jokic stands at a certain level. I mean, this goes back to me. I remember watching like Jason Kidd back in his heyday when he was with the Nets and whatever. And it's just
Playmaker.
like that guy. Like he is never gonna. I mean, if he plays 70 games, his team's gonna be in the 50-win bracket because he's so good. And that's what I look at Jokic. And it's like Kidd was never able to win a title as that player. He won later, with Nowitzki and a Dallas team. But, like, he never won as the central star. He did get to the finals, I believe, twice. But couldn't get over the hump. But just, like, he was that guy that was that good, and you're not going to be bad when he's your main guy. And that, to me, is how I measure, like, guys that are in the superstar conversation. And it's just that's just the standard for me. And I'm okay with that. But you got to move the needle. You can't be a guy that is just, I put up a bunch of stats and the team's just kind of indifferent around me. But kind of flipping it back to Cooper Flagg, like there's just his game is the versatility. Yeah. And it's the effort and the passion that he plays at. And when you watch a Duke game, like, yeah, there's been a handful of games where he's put up a big point total. There's been other games when he hasn't put up as many points. But one way or another, he is going to be central in the outcome of the game.
He's going to impact it.
And it also goes to the point that I look at the 3 losses they've had are by a combined like about 12 points. They have not lost a game by double figures. That tells me that obviously they're a good team, and obviously he's a star, but they don't give up. Like, nobody's beating them easily. They've, in 34 games, they've competed to the wire every time.
And do you think, have you watched any much of Ace Bailey?
No, his team sucks. Well, they got the 2 guys. They got the 2 guys in the Harper and Bailey are these guys that are potential top 10 picks, maybe a bit higher by some estimations.
Ace is supposed to be in that 1-2 range. That's what I'm hearing.
And where are they? They're not even in this tournament.
So you wouldn't even have him in a discussion with Cooper for the number 1. Like if
I would not. No, I would not.
That's my question.
To me, Cooper's number 1, and it's not close in this class. I'll stand on that until proven differently. But again, you have 2 talented guys, and maybe they did a horrible job of building the rest of that roster. I don't even understand how Rutgers got those 2 guys. I mean, if we want to talk about prostitutes, like what happened in Rutgers? Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like,
Well, you see, BYU got the number 1 player in the nation coming.
But again, like if you think about Rutgers, like they're the equivalent. I remember when I was a kid, we used to drive down to Florida from Connecticut, and you'd be in like the South Carolinas and the Georgias, and you'd look off the side of the highway, and there'd be some like shack type house. Like not Shaq O'Neal, like a shack, and there'd be like a shiny Cadillac sitting outside of it. That's what Rutgers is. Like that's that team. They are a shit shack with 2 luxury vehicles out front. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
It's just that's the thing. I mean, it's bad enough that you really got to question, like, when you're evaluating those 2 guys, like how good are they, and what do they care about?
Yeah.
If you're there, even the decision to go to Rutgers, if it's just about money, are we looking at 2 future Bradley Beals? I mean, if Rutgers just offers the most amount of money, I mean, New Jersey's a shitty state. Like, why do you want to go there?
Yeah.
Period. I mean, again, the only thing that makes sense is kind of money. If you wanted to go somewhere where you could win, there's other programs that are better at that and could have equipped you with a better supporting cast and made your 1 year in college a lot more fun. I do not understand the why those guys went there. I don't think it reflects well on them at this point in terms of an evaluation data point. But the talent may be there and they may be successful. But I mean, to me, I'm not liking it at all.
Got a Bradley Beal reference in the show. Got to like that. Really quick here, I wanted to give a quick shout out to I4 Chapman. This would be new to you, Pink, but we have been invited out here to the pre-roll There's going to be artists out there, poets, podcasts, radio. If you are into any of that, you might want to hit up I4 Chapman new page on IG, okay, and get in there. We're going to be out there and some other of the top platforms here in the city. Saturday, April 19th. It's going to be a good time. They're calling it a day party, so it's not just for those type of groups. It's for anybody and everybody. Just come out and have a good time and show some support.
A pre-roll right before 420, folks.
Yeah. So don't bring all your stuff. You got to be ready for 420, I guess. All right, here. So let's go. We'll go story here because what we have left here is just some crazy topics, and then we'll parlay on some NFL Aaron Rodgers stuff. Okay.
He needs to end his career.
Yeah, facts.
Well, he still has a semblance of dignity.
All right. Again, man, all of my stories are 100% accurate. This girl came on, the Derby girl came on, lies, fake on the story about the DJ yesterday. I didn't even reply, like, chill.
Was she the one that got boned?
It's possibly. I'm thinking the DJ paid her to come on and comment. But
I can't quite say this is a lie, but
there's a woman that
I've got some cash app coming your way. If you'll go on there and shoot arrows at Bubba.
But yeah, man, all of my stories, there's no cap in my rap, all right? Now, this particular story here, okay, shout out to seersuckers and sundresses. That is an event that is put on by Teague, man. One of the best, dopest events in Central Florida. You got some of the finest women in all Central Florida coming here to this event, man, and it's really dope.
And you.
Yeah. And I've been about 3 times now. All right, and this is a story coming from one of the particular times. All right, now when I go there, it's a day party. It's called seersuckers and sundresses, so people come and dress up. Now the way I do it is I'm usually the only person in there like that, so I typically get a good bit of attention. I come in there with a blazer, no shirt on underneath. You've seen some pictures on IG like that.
I have. Yeah.
That is where I'm going. I'm going to seersuckers and sundresses.
More importantly, I can't unsee those pictures. Man boobs, anybody?
Yeah, so I'll come in there like that. And
so you don't go with the actual seersucker look.
That is a seersucker look because it's a blazer.
Is that kind of that?
It can be. It's more
kind of.
Is that, but also a blazer or really a suit. Anything. It's really dressing up and stuff like that. And then of course the women come in there in their beautiful sundresses.
Panties or no panties?
It's a mixture of both.
Okay.
All right. And so this particular time I'm there, all right, making my rounds. There's this like petite light-skinned girl there. All right. Now, that's not really my type. Okay, I like the thick, dark-skinned girls. All right. But she's kind of digging me and digging what I got on and stuff like that. So we kind of start talking a little bit. And then, as a little time goes on, we start dancing. She dancing on me for a while and stuff like that. So we getting quite acquainted here. Now, this girl is a little drunk. All right. She's a little drunk, man. I've been drinking a little bit too, but she's a little drunk. Not like wasted, sloppy drunk, but she's drunk. And I make a mistake. A mistake I've only made twice in my life.
Oh.
Okay. And this story got multiple pullaways from this story. This is going to be one of them. I tongue kissed this girl in the middle of the goddamn seersuckers and sundresses party. Okay. That's a mistake.
Is it? Why?
Because there's so many fine women in there. Once I tongue kiss this girl, I'm off the market. It's over with. You can't go up to any other girl after that. You can't. That's what I'm saying. And so I've
So you can dance away, but the tongue kiss.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
Gets you
Come
off
on, man.
the board.
Yeah. You can't do that. That's crazy. Yeah,
Bubba's now off the draft board.
And I know it's crazy why I'm doing it, but I couldn't just whatever. So at this point, I have to be fully invested. I got to see this through. I got to see a return on my investment, okay? Because now I done gave up all this other that was really my type and this and that, all right? Now it turns out she's with her mom, her auntie, and her mom friend. Okay, so she's with like older women.
It's quite a quadruple double you pulled off. If you smash that whole crowd, you're in the Hall of Fame.
I'm not in the Hall of Fame. All right.
I'm not surprised.
but we're going through. But the reason why I bring that up is like that's her reasoning for not like coming back with me. Okay, after it's over, because now it ends. It ends now, and we have to go our separate ways. But
Do you think Mom and Annie were like super proud when they saw their daughter touch
a stranger, right? Somebody I've never seen, but I've never seen this girl a day in my life.
This is the daughter we raised.
But what's interesting about that is it wasn't like it was just like another Tuesday. So I don't know if it's just that she does this all the time, or whether she just got a cool mama and her mama just don't give a damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, I was looking, saying pretty good here. So maybe the mama was like, well, he is handsome or whatever. So you good.
Did you get any conversation with the mom and the aunt?
No, not really. Right. Just, like a, hey, what's going on?
I just tongue-kissed your daughter. That's what's going on.
She like introduced, like, hey, this is my friend, my new friend. This is that. Right? Now, the event ends. I'm kind of pissed, right? Because I made an investment. She's not gonna come home, and then she's tongue kissing me in the middle of the floor, and
eliminated other options.
Yeah,
a lot of soul searching at the end of this.
So what happens is, but I get the number, we communicate overnight. That very next day, okay, she's downtown. And she Ubered there, but for some reason, whatever, she hit me up to come and pick her up to give her a ride home. All right. Now, it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. It's Sunday. Yeah. Okay, Sunday night. I got to work in the morning. It's 10, 11 o'clock. It's a lot for me to get up. I live far to go way downtown to pick this girl up. Yeah. All right. But my investment. You know what I mean?
Did you like
my investment?
Did you confirm her mother wasn't with her?
No, but it's my
before you got a tank of gas and headed downtown.
It's my investment, so I had to go. I had no other choice. So I go downtown to go pick her up. I'm in whatever pajamas and a tank top. She wants me to come inside the club where she's at in pajamas and flip flops and a tank top. Whatever. Luckily, I know the girl at the front. Shout out to Melrose. I know her at the front, so she let me in for free too. Whatever. So we in there for about 30 minutes. I'm telling her, like, I gotta go. I gotta be up in the morning. I gotta work. She's like, all right, okay. She's drunk again. Okay. Not a great sign, but I don't need a lot. I'm not trying to make her my wife. That's not the investment here. Okay. We get in the car. Again, I barely really know this girl. We text a couple times that night, the night prior, and that's it. So in the car, when she gets in the car, we're going home, I'm asking her, like, so how many brothers and sisters you got? And as we're leaving downtown.
Important question.
I don't know where to go with this conversation. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to draw up conversation. And and we're just, whatever, leaving downtown, getting there to get the I-4. She's like, whatever, barely answering. As soon as I get about to get to I-4, she unzips my pants and goes to town.
Nice.
Unzips my pants and goes to town. From the time we hit I-4 all the way to her house, she never came up for air.
Really?
Yeah, and that's a little interesting because it's like, damn, you don't give a damn about the traffic or if I'm about to crash or you don't care about your life or anything.
I don't think it was that serious.
It is that serious. I'm on I-4. You give us do it on I-4 while you're driving and all this and that. It's a little tough, man, not to ever care about what's going on with the traffic. And the reason why I say it's multi-layered because number one, okay, boom, you got the return on your investment. Number two, what a nice gesture to. You don't have money to give to a person, so you get a person head for a ride home. Like that's just somebody raised her the right way because it's like, hey, nothing in this world is free. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to, because I'm pissed if I get up, I got to be up early. If I get up out of my way to go downtown, pick somebody up, drive them home, then I got to drive home from their house that's far.
Yeah.
For nothing. No money, no nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
That's a tough one, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You were just used, my friend.
So shout out to this girl for understanding what's going on here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just thought that that was such a very nice gesture, and to find a woman like that at seersuckers and sundresses, that's why it's one of the dopest events in Central Florida, man. Now if you find you a petite light skinned girl at that event, that could be the one.
Could be the one. Could be
man.
the one. That's good stuff. Was there a round 2, Bubba, or no?
What you mean?
No.
That
was it?
Done? That was it, man.
One round of glorious head and time to become Casper the Ghost.
Yeah, that was enough. Sometimes you got to know when to pull out the stock, man. You got to know when to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when it's time to run.
All right, Kenny Rogers. Gambler.
Yeah, I think that's important in life, man.
Sure is, man.
For any young man listening,
Sure is.
You have to know.
That's good, man.
Now, some guys are still, chase that experience and that feeling, but that's a one-time thing.
You got the best of her. Someone else will get what's left of her.
Oh man, that's another one in the books.
Well played, Bubba.
Yeah, I think so.
About 48 hours for payoff, and there you go.
Not too shabby.
I'm surprised you held out the whole ride home.
What you mean?
I thought you might be good for an exit or two.
Some women are going to be like, I know this story is fake. I know you're lying. That's how I know. That means all your stories are lies. No way you lasted that long.
How you do one thing's how you do everything. Good stuff.
No, that's hilarious. All right, here. Let's hit some other quick fun stuff here. Let's go here. That's tough to come out of the story, but who gives a damn, right?
It's all about transition.
Harvard University
stepping up and helping the people.
As announced, that's making tuition free for families who earn less than $200,000 a year. For families earning less than $100,000, Harvard will also cover expenses like housing and health insurance. This is so dope because even though they don't put a whatever on it, this for black folks, man. It's for people coming out of the hood or even private, whatever. I know it's white people that don't make that much money either, but it's very few. And for them to do that, like I wish they would. That maybe I would have upped my GPA a little bit if I knew Harvard was going
to be a free option.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I applaud stuff like this. It is we have a country where it is cost prohibitive to get education. And if one of the best educational institutions in the country is going to do this, I think it's a great step. I would hope that other high-tier institutions will follow the same way. The strength of this, though, is Harvard has a tremendous amount of endowment. Mm-hmm. And wealth that builds its own to cover these costs, but again,
endowment.
Getting
Somebody's endowed over
there. I mean, this is a good thing to give opportunity to people who don't necessarily come from a ton of money to get to these schools, and hopefully have life-changing success in that. So shout out to Harvard. You've done the right thing.
Yeah, for sure. That is a good point to where I wonder what other high-level institutions follow. You don't want to get left out of or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I mean, again, like in the times that we're in, it's counterintuitive, but there is strength in diversity when you diversify the type of people that go to a school like Harvard, whether it's by race, gender, ethnicity. You broaden the educational experience because all these different perspectives come to a place and collide, and you're gonna learn things from that. I mean, my own personal college experience was a testament to that. I came, obviously, a white guy from Connecticut. I come down to Florida State, different part of the country, obviously, and my two best college friends, to this day, One guy is from Jamaica via Miami. The other guy is from India via Daytona. And, I met immediate diversity. And, like I came from this 2-parent household, homeowners got, 2 sisters, whatever, 3 siblings. And Sarv came from, he's an Indian guy. His father had actually passed away before we met. He was a successful business guy and came from that background. Went to boarding school in India. And our other friend Brian, he came from a single family home and kind of had that, edge and chip on his shoulder. And we found commonality in our own ambitions, and we found strength in each other's diversity to grow as people. And I think in some ways all became better men because of it. And that's what it should be. Like, you shouldn't just be in a cookie cutter environment. And when I look back to go to Florida State, I can't say that I planned it, but I was not attracted to the idea of going to the University of Connecticut, where a certain percentage of my high school graduating class was going to be there. The natural evolution would have, because I already knew those guys, I would hang out with those guys, probably had one of them as a roommate, and my experience would have been very insular. I wouldn't have had to walk onto a campus where I knew 0 people and had to find my way. And the funny thing is when I did that, when I got down to Florida State and you're meeting people in the dorm and you're meeting people at classes, like, I was making a conscious effort to be sociable and engage, but like, you're automatically seeing, this ain't my type of person. Like, I'm not that, I'm not, I don't like this guy, whatever. And then when we found each other playing ping pong in the basement of the dorm. And we just kind of gravitated toward each other. We're all kind of competitive on ping pong and just, it was like, these are my kind of guys. Like, this is my crew. And it just happened organically, but I had to make that happen because I knew nobody.
Yeah.
I couldn't, hide behind like, a couple high school buddies and we all hang out in the circle. And that's a story of my life, but it's a story that should be a part of everybody's life. You get better when you're around something that isn't what you already are.
No, seriously. No, that's good stuff. 100%, man. Now, this next one is going to video is going to play as I play it. So, 1 second here.
Player must prepare for his day in court.
He's ready to fight charges after recording a song aiming to settle a score. It's a story you see first on Fox 5, and Fox 5's Kevin Stewart is at the live desk with this one. Kevin?
Guys, battle raps and diss tracks are foundational to hip-hop. They involve boasting, jokes, even threats. But a teen and his family never thought his diss track would land him in jail.
The other guy got a couple other licks in, and my son ended up with a big knot on the top of his forehead.
The Jess Lyles can't believe his 18-year-old son, Cortez, allegedly got jumped by a teammate on the Heritage High football team and ended up with a mugshot, charged with making a terroristic threat after posting this diss track on his Instagram page.
I'ma beat his drop a diss, and then I'll take his get a body bag or save his cause I ain't sparing. I'm a scorpion.
The track came about after his parents told him not to fight.
What do y'all want him to do? Come back to school and fight?
A lot of layers to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, first of all, it's a bunch of layers to it, like you said. Because number one, on the police side, that's nuts to arrest an 18-year-old boy for just a song. Okay?
Well, I mean,
a rap song.
People physically attacked him and presumably did not get arrested.
Yes.
At all, committing a battery.
Correct.
He writes a song and gets arrested.
That's nuts.
That's ridiculous.
And that's nuts, and that goes to your police thing.
FTP, baby.
Now, that aside, and that's crazy, and that's bad, that's terrible. Come on, kid, what you doing, man? It's not how you get back. Me personally, I'm not a dad, I'm not a father, so I don't know nothing. But I wouldn't even feel comfortable getting on the news saying anything my son did. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's not how you get your get back. If you're not gonna get your get back physically, you don't get your get back at all. Like, that's kind of just what it is. Like, you're not a rapper. You're not a rapper. You don't do music. The other kids don't. you're a football player who got jumped for whatever reason, whether it was wrong or right for them to do so. I don't think it's ever right for a person to get jumped. You know what I mean? If it's like just pick one person. If one person got beef with 5 people, then one of them 5 need to pick one person. Y'all just fight each other. Okay?
Nominate your best person.
Nominate the best person, man, for this ass whooping. And but that's just lame. It's lame to get whooped by 5 people and then go and make a diss track when none of y'all are rappers. That's lame.
Not only that though, like the diss track itself, like what do you think's gonna come out of that? Like you're threatening to body bag people.
Yeah.
Like why won't they just beat your ass again?
Yeah.
Like,
or even worse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like what in that diss track is gonna prevent these people from whooping your ass again?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Now, maybe if you made a viral song that was like clowning them, making fun of them, and the whole school can be walking around like, look at Big Head with the small, the Payless shoes. If you could produce something like that, which a teen rapper probably would be able to, but because you're probably a fucking 5th string running back, it's probably not your skill set, and so that would be cool. But yeah, to go the aggressive route, the aggressive Ice Cube, Tupac route, you didn't even take the Drake and Kendrick approach. The fucking, whatever. You took the old school 1980s, I'm body bagging and killing folks. And taking your bitches is what he said.
Even Ice Cube went no Vaseline. I mean, come on. Or at least take the bitches first.
Yeah,
don't talk about having done it.
Don't talk about I will do it.
Yeah, drop some intimate detail.
It
makes it unmistakable that I had your girl.
This shows he didn't have any friends.
Yeah.
Nobody was able to tell him like, oh yeah, this is better ways to go about doing this.
He might be the Jordan Poole of heritage football.
There you go, man. You can't even come back to the team now. It's that lame.
How do you come back?
Now he is 18, probably a senior. Whatever.
Playing JV.
Would assume so, man.
Getting limited snaps in JV.
I would assume so. Seniors who get a lot of play on the team, they don't do stuff like this. Those guys.
They don't get jumped by 5 guys.
They don't get jumped by 5 guys. It's unfortunate, but yeah, you could have did much better with this, man.
But that said, I think the arrest is unnecessary and excessive.
Yes. Now, we're on your side with that. You need to get freed. You need to be out of jail because that's crazy. That's nuts. They shouldn't have done that.
I mean, in all seriousness, like what? Yeah. Like, I mean, really, if you think this all the way through, it's like, okay, so this guy just says a bunch of words on a bad rap song, and we're gonna arrest him. This is like a good allocation of police and state attorney and courthouse resources to prosecute this particular crime. Now, and I get it's fair to say, like again, I'm somebody that is into profiling, and I think that you could probably look at people's behavior and patterns and predict the next school shooter and those sorts of things. But if this guy was really about action, he would have done some action and not headed to the recording studio.
There you go.
And so, like, if he was truly dangerous, the song is kind of what we're saying is you're making this song because you don't have any action in you.
Yeah, that's it.
So even the fact that he went with the song instead of with fists or whatever. Like, that kind of shows us, like, this guy ain't worth arresting. He's a harm to nobody.
And that's another reason why I feel more comfortable talking about it in this manner, because it's like you did go on a rap song telling them what you would do. Like, like you said, catch them one by one and do something to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not, like, so making that song, like, nobody believes you. That's the first initial problem.
Did you hear that super
song.
Cool story about the Mexican mother who her daughter was killed and she hunted down either 10 or 12 guys that were involved in the murder and killed them all?
Oh, yikes. I feel like I've seen 5 movies like that.
Yeah, that was like some Count of Monte Cristo stuff.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next one here? Oh, this one you sent to me, actually. So, man seeks advice after his dying wife asks permission to spend the night with ex one last time. Number one, I wonder, is that a real picture of her?
She looks a little healthy there.
Yeah.
I don't think she's genuinely ill.
And then if that's not
maybe her stomach's a little uneasy.
if that's not a real picture of her, what is that lady thinking of being the poster child of this question?
That's a good point.
So
That's a good point.
either way, it's funny and interesting.
It is funny and interesting.
But the question in itself, man, what you thinking about it? Again,
there's no way if you were in a genuine relationship with this woman, and like you really think she loves you, and she asks you this question, like there's no way. Like, I think my response, if I genuinely cared about her, would be to pull the plug.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. Well, what else? What other option do you have?
I mean, you do have the option to let her do it.
But what? Okay, so you presumably this lady's been sick. She's dying. You've been the guy. You're there.
Oh, yeah.
And the final act she wants to do is smash another guy who hasn't been nursing her back to health or
And guess what?
nursing her down the stretch.
And guess what?
What?
It's a high possibility, a high chance that you haven't been getting any at all since she's been sick.
For sure. She's got one round in her.
She's been holding on to that.
And she's not giving it to you.
She's been holding on to that one round.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you just need to pull the plug on her. There's no way you can come back from that. I mean, this is beyond insulting.
That's tough, man.
That's beyond insulting.
Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one now because you can look at it like, well, you know, she is going to be out of here, so why not just let her have it and then whatever, be done with it. But it is a gut punch to your ego and just like you said, just what's been going on. You've been there for her, taking care of things, visiting her at the hospital, doing all this stuff. Probably haven't been getting any sex yourself, and then she acts this in a serious manner. That's nuts.
That's really kind of my fixation on it is if this person is dying and you've been changing your life to be with her and help her down the stretch, and that's the reward you get. Like, that's insane to me.
Now, I will say this. We had a family member who was dying, and they asked to smoke crack as their dying wish. No, seriously. And you know, struggle with that to like, what do? You give it to him or what do you want to do? And then you have to, you know, like crack is not weed. And then now you got to go find it after you decide whether you're actually going to let this person do it or not.
Yeah.
Now we got to go find it. How do you find, you know, crack cocaine? I know a million weed dealers.
Not so many crack.
That's like an 80s thing, right? You know? So,
Sorry,
but
Uncle.
this.
Sorry, Uncle, we're not in 1988 anymore.
You want some strong weed? I can give you something out of it and put you on planet Pluto or whatever. But yeah, but this is different. This is different. This is tough.
like again, if you wanted to say like, yeah, if the guy wanted to do crack, if he wanted to do weed, if he, you know, whatever, like if it's just like some like individual vice, I don't have the same reaction to this.
Okay.
But like if it's somebody that you love and you've like literally changed your life down the stretch to be with them in their dying, you know, hours, that's just too big a slap in the face. That really is.
That's wild. Yeah, but like you said, we're gonna get our next female guest in. We'll bring that back up because I would like their because you wonder because every woman has their like favorite or whatever. They just do. It is what it is.
I think the
guys do too. We all do. Do you have big enough balls, big enough tatas to ask for that?
But
I
don't even think I mean I just think you're a bad person if you even ask. I do.
Yeah.
Like I mean, but I'm very specific here. If you are the person that is like become their caretaker,
yeah,
and you're in what's ostensibly been like a loving, caring relationship, like that's just off the charts for me.
Yeah. No, I gotta. I'm not as far as pulling the plug, but I'm with you on. It's crazy.
And I think it's rooted in my aversion to like I don't like to be around sick people at all. I hate hospitals. It's like to me.
So if you're gonna do it,
if I had to do that for another person, like you're getting about as much as you could ask from me. Like, for me to do that, like, I don't have anything more to offer at that point. If I care about you that much that I'm with you in the waning moments, like in a hospital setting, like, forget it.
Yeah. All right. No, I'm with you on that. Now, this next thing that is viral now, I had to bring up the article, is this thing here. I know that's not your favorite guy to talk about, but Trump him and his administration freezes $175 million of funds to Penn University over trans athletes in women's sports. So let me read this article here. The decision is the latest clash between a university and administration as it pushes schools to end diversity programming, blah, blah, blah. The Trump administration said Wednesday it would suspend about $175 million in federal funding to the University of Pennsylvania over its approach to transgender athletes, according to the White House social media account. The move would intensify the government's campaign against transgender people's participation in public life and escalate a clash with elite colleges. All right.
Oh, I'm supposed to have a take on this?
I mean, it's sports.
It's not. It's not sports, because this is what this administration is doing. They threaten everybody with financial repercussions unless you fall in line with what they do. They are strong-arming everybody. What do you think all this tariff bullshit is? They basically equate economic penalty with forced compliance, whatever the issue is. They threaten funding on every fucking thing that they oppose. It's ridiculous. It's just, I mean, that's their move. That they happen to apply it to Penn because of a transgender athlete. The irony is like that. This story probably because their base is so anti, trans and gay and everything else. Like this, This is the one they highlight. But this is the move that you were doing to every institution in the country that doesn't agree with what you're doing. I mean, this is the whole, like, getting rid of DEI stuff. This is the threat. They threatened removing, and they did this, right from the beginning. Like, if you're not going to comply with the removing DEI priority stuff, we're going to withhold funding that you rely on to run your institution.
Exactly.
And it's going to create disruption. And even if you could eventually find the funding in other avenues, you got to deal with this crisis that's created and manufactured by their strong arm bullshit politics.
No, 100%. I do agree with that part of it for sure, because it's plain as day and you can see it, and that's where it's going, where it's headed. But on the other side of it, just talking about the transgender part of it and being allowed to take part in collegiate sports, I'm not sure I'm on board with that.
Now, I've never been on board with trans athletes competing against women. There's a competitive advantage in that's not acceptable. If trans life, as it were, is so prevalent that they can have their, essentially their division. We have men's basketball, we have women's basketball. I mean, if there's enough people interested in playing, I'm not going to say you can't have trans basketball. I don't care. It doesn't matter that much to me. That's fine. You're like for like competition. But to, threaten government funds to an institution to get them to comply with essentially a trivial fucking thing.
It really is.
How many trans athletes are playing for Penn? I'd be stunned if it were more than
3.
5 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're going to imperil financially the entire student body? Come on.
Yeah.
And
then to say, okay, we're starting here, but we're going down the line with other elite institutions. Yeah, that's crazy.
No, these people are evil. They deserve the grave.
Well, to someone else who people believe are being evil, Aaron Rodgers, man, NFL talk. Let's get into some NFL talk here with Aaron Rodgers, because there were 3 teams that were rumored to be in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. You had the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? You had the New York Giants, and you had the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this morning, Minnesota comes out, says, hey, we're no longer – they didn't say no longer, but we're not in the Aaron Rodgers business. I read that as we're no longer in the Aaron Rodgers business, as in he's taking too motherfucking long to decide, and we're not going to drag this along. We're a good team. He can't see that. Screw him. And then now you still have Pittsburgh and New York in play. Okay, now Pittsburgh just, they invested again into the receiver portion. They brought in a nice number 1-2 receiver. Okay, they got a nice structure, nice, thing going on there. They just really do need a quarterback really bad. And the Giants are a dumpster fire. They probably should be there. But again, you have a high draft pick, so what is that going to look like if you draft a quarterback? Because even if you do get Aaron to agree to come to New York, you still have to draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he's only a 1 to 2 year rental. You need to look towards the future anyhow. Yeah. What's your take on all this?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a good fit for any team in football. I think he should have essentially a forced retirement. I do not understand what the attraction of Aaron Rodgers is. This is a guy that's 40 years old now. This is a guy that had an Achilles tear and played 4 snaps the year before. And this is a guy who played like crap this year when he played. Like, this is not Aaron Rodgers of 10 years ago with the Packers. This is a diminished product that cannot play high-level effective football for the duration of a season. There's enough evidence to show us that this is the case. And he's also like an enigmatic guy that is not going to be easily engaged in a locker room.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we look at a guy like Cam Newton, who probably in the last of his playing days had more to offer as a football player than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But there was this notion that Cam was maybe a little too much to fit in a locker room and maybe not be the MVP level guy. And so he was kind of, essentially pushed aside, or just to fair say there was no market for him at some point.
Yeah.
There should not be a market for Aaron Rodgers. There should absolutely be zero market for him. And the teams that are ostensibly interested are not, it does not make sense. Minnesota drafted J.J. McCarthy last year. He showed promise. I recognize he's coming back from injury. But Aaron Rodgers is a 1-year stopgap that's probably going to stunt his development more than anything, is not the answer. You're better rolling with a good clubhouse guy like Jameis if you have some concerns about J.J. McCarthy's ability to start from day one of this next season than you are Aaron Rodgers. Because you don't sign Aaron Rodgers not to start.
Yeah.
And so what are you telling J.J. McCarthy? I mean, unless this injury is far worse than expected, but I haven't heard that.
No, we haven't heard it, and them saying we're out of that sweepstakes kind of confirmed that anyhow. Yeah. But I think what they were thinking initially is like, hey, we can bring Aaron in and competition-wise a year or two. If he beats out McCarthy, it's not the worst thing in the world if he sits one more year type of thing. The more interesting thing, too, which
But I want to take issue with that, because I think when you draft a quarterback in a high level like they did J.J. McCarthy, you don't bring in people in front of him that are going to beat him out.
Right, if they're already there,
do that.
That's a different thing.
If they're already there, and I'm sitting behind a guy like Jordan Love did, and Aaron Rodgers himself did with Brett Favre, that's fine. It's somewhat organic in what you're doing.
Yeah.
But to bring in this Hall of Fame guy at the end of his career to start in front of you, what are you doing? It's just, it does not make sense.
Yeah.
It's going to do more to hinder the growth of J.J. McCarthy than anything.
And I think somebody in that front office, was probably
finally put down the vodka,
or was chomping at the bit the whole time, and everybody finally decided to listen.
Yeah.
Okay. Pittsburgh is in a different. Well, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me go back really quick. I just want to make a quick comment because it's interesting, because he would have been following the exact same track as Brett Favre, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
The
Packers, Jets, Vikings.
In that exact order, that is bizarre. And it actually, JJ aside, it made a lot of sense. because
It never made sense.
Sam is leaving. I'm saying Sam Darnold. They didn't want to pay him whatever because especially because you had JJ. But it would have made some kind of sense if Aaron come there from a Minnesota Vikings standpoint and from an Aaron point of view.
I just think he's done. And
Yeah,
if you can't see that he's done, whether you have J.J. McCarthy or not. Yeah. So, I mean, how can you say, if you believe, as I do, that he's 100% done, he's not a good move for anybody?
No, for sure. And Pittsburgh is the most interesting one to me because they do have the talent, but it's like, man, you need to just – you've been down – you've been bad on quarterback since Ben. And even the last few years of Ben was really bad. You need to find the future quarterback. You need to draft them, trade up in the draft, do what you need to do to get a guy you believe in, and just roll with that. Because whatever the corpse of Aaron that you're going to be getting is not going to be conducive to the winning that you're trying to do. You're trying to win multiple playoff games. You're in a very hard division, and you're banking your entire offseason on Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't even know if he wants to play football or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're the Steelers organization, this is what you have fucking resorted to?
And it is an undermining of what the Steeler culture is. Yeah, they are, kind of always been, going back before Tom went to Chuck Noll, like a blue collar, let's get it on and be a physical football team, not waiting around for guys to decide if they want to play or not.
That's nuts.
It's crazy. And I'm disappointed that the Steelers are even considering this. And even the Giants, because you do have that high draft pick. You can draft one of the better quarterbacks in this class and try to rebuild your franchise.
Yeah.
It just does not make any sense the way they've gone about this.
No, for sure. Now, they are getting closer to banning the tush push. We talked about that. Hopefully, we'll hear some more news on that in a couple of weeks. Any other, right now the Aaron Rodgers thing, and then you got the draft. The NFL is so tricky with the offseason because from a fan's point of view, every fan wants their team to do something in the offseason. But there's just not enough money to go around. I'm a Chiefs fan, and even though we win a lot, we need offensive line and some help on defense. But it's like when you don't see that your team get any help or get those pieces, you just think the end of the world is here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's an anxiety that comes. Again, unless you're the Eagles and you just won the title convincingly, you feel like you've got holes to fill. And if you're the Eagles, you're like, we got to keep shit together. And the reality is, if you're like a Chiefs or one of these teams and you don't make any splash moves in the first couple, days or week or so of free agency, it feels like everybody's going to be off the board. Who the hell are we going to end up getting? And there is a rhythm to free agency. I think certain big pieces come off the board early, and then you kind of go to another tier of kind of bargain shopping essentially, and also assessing what do we have, what did we lose in free agency, because again you go into this and the Eagles have lost a few guys, and it's you go in with a roster and you could be thinking about proactively filling certain holes, but if you simultaneously created a few new holes by losing some pieces that you didn't expect to lose, now your free agency needs are completely different. So I think it comes in stages. There's the big opening, then there's kind of the secondary market, and then there's kind of other markets to develop after the draft, and when other players end up having to be released at certain points in time, that you kind of get to reevaluate things. So I mean, patience is the way to go. Don't overreact to anything there.
What about the Bengals move and Mac giving the big contract to T. Higgins and Chase?
I mean, they're basically saying we are what we are last year. I mean, I can't imagine they're going to have a whole lot of flexibility, for defense or even offensive line play.
0%.
After that, so you've got these three super talented guys, including Burrow, and it's going to be, hey, this is the show we've got. It almost feels like a career of Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Where you get the early Super Bowl with talented wide receivers, talented cast. You lock those guys in, and then you're just never going to be good enough again to whiff a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you'll do some cool things, and you'll have some moments and sling it around a bunch. But I don't know if this doesn't signal basically the Bengals are never going to be a contender with again with that trio of guys.
It's tough, man. To some degree, I can kind of like agree with their mindset. We know what we're good at. Let's go all in on what we're good at. The problem with that though is like like you said, that's exactly what you've already had, and it didn't work. So you bring in a new defensive coordinator to coordinate these same bad defenders. So maybe he can make a marginal difference on the edges, but you're asking a hell of a lot for offense to be even better than what they were. With these same trio of guys. But it'd be interesting to see. It's an interesting team building, man. NFL is the team building is so important, but so unique to team versus team, and they've taken the full offensive approach.
Well, it's what you have in in a salary cap dynamic.
Yeah,
like you have a set amount of money to spend, and how you choose to do that is going to define what your team is. Now, the thing we haven't touched on is let's say they nail 4 defensive starters in the draft.
That's what you're going to need to do.
Yeah. Maybe they do that.
That's what you're going to need to do.
Kind of works out a little bit. I don't know.
That's what you're going to need to do. Just draft all defense pretty much and interior line.
But nail it.
Nail it. It's not enough to
4 guys in your
starters.
7 or 8 picks that can start on your defense.
Yeah, from day one.
And then maybe you got a chance for this to be a legitimate contending team again.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. That's for sure.
But this is why I genuinely hate the salary cap.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. It's because you're put in these positions, and it's not good or fun to see really talented players kind of be stuck in situations where maybe they're never going to contend again in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
That's why you got to go to international soccer. Where you can just load up with whatever the hell you want. There virtually are no rules. Like we could just if we can find the money to spend, we can spend it.
Yeah.
And just build these stacked teams with your favorite players everywhere. That's what it's all about.
Oh man. Well, I think that'll do it for today's show.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, let me see what's going on in the NBA really quick here. New Orleans and Minnesota is in a dogfight, 115 with 140 to go. Minnesota's been playing better as of late. New Orleans is tanking. When they play against, that's another thing I want to talk about. I'm going to get into that tanking really quick here. When they play a better team, Zion doesn't. When they play a better team, Zion plays. When they play a sorry team, he doesn't play because they really want to lose games. So tonight, Zion is playing. And he's playing. He has played well when he plays, but I just think that is the wrong thing to do if you're New Orleans. Yeah. I know you're tanking. I know you think a higher pick, but you have a healthy guy who needs to play. He hasn't been healthy, right? So he hasn't been able to play. So this healthy stretch that he has, he needs to play. Get him out there.
Yeah, I agree.
Fuck it. You win. You sneak in to play. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, you're not, like, the ping pong balls, like, there are some teams that, they need to crash and tank. I thought Philly needed to crash and tank. But that's because their guys are literally unable to play. All right? Now, but Utah, the reason I want to get into the tanking, Utah was fined. Did you hear about that? A few $100,000 because they were sitting Lloyd Marketing, who was fully healthy.
Okay.
A guy you don't think much of anyhow.
Right.
But they were literally
sit him, play him. It matters not.
They were holding him out of games so they can lose more games. And there's 2 ways to think about that, because as a player, you're healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. And the team tells you, hey, sit down. I don't know. What do you do with that?
I don't know what to do because I can't really relate to it. It's just I come from the competitive side of sport, playing, coaching, whatever. It's like I want to go out every day and win, and like whoever we got available, let's go. I never if you're healthy, how could you not want to play? Like, that is crazy to me. I'm not a load management guy, like, at least on the court. That's
So
crazy.
you would be uncomfortable if you was the Utah Jazz coach and
Yeah.
and ownership or whoever high above, whatever.
I would not want any part of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out, like, from a coaching perspective, I'm going to go out and try to win with whatever guys I have. Like, it may be too big of an ask to do with certain guys, but that's what I'm going to do. But if you're going to let a perfectly healthy guy who's probably my best player not play,
Yeah, that's
like,
what I'm saying.
what is that about?
Yeah.
Again, like, go back to, like, Jordan, like, when he had the foot injury and they brought him back on, like, the minutes restriction. He was furious with that.
No,
like,
he was.
He like, even before he was able to come back on the minutes restriction, he left Chicago and went back to UNC to play full court games, pick up to play because he was so hungry to play.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of guy I want in my organization. That's the type of organization I want. Now, if you're going to, get it, and I know, like, you were a Philly guy and the process and all that, that's not who I am. I would never be a part of that.
Yeah.
I would just play.
I think it's conducive in certain situations. I think it's I don't know if conducive is the right word, but I think it is the right thing to do in certain situations.
I understand the logic of it. I understand the potential payoff of it, if it goes right. But I can't put myself in the shoes of doing it.
But that's but I'm not into sitting healthy players.
Oh no. Yeah, that's no excuse.
There's no excuse for that. That makes zero sense. I'm saying, like, if all is to shit, just go ahead and tear it down. That's what I'm saying. Like Utah, they should have traded Laurie at the trade deadline. If you're not going to play him anyway,
right. Why not? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and that's what I wanted Philly to do.
Yeah, if you believe that you're in a total rebuild, trade the guy.
Yeah, trade him.
Get whatever picks or assets you can that'll help with your rebuild, but get rid of him.
Yeah.
And another thing, like, Laurie Markkinen is probably not the guy, and I'm not a particular fan of his. But if you are a player and you're going to sit there and say, I'm going to put 12, 15 years in the league and whatever, if you have some inkling of accomplishments or maybe potential Hall of Fame criteria, sitting out games hurts you.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to, granted, these might be fairly meaningless last 17, 18 games of the year, but if he's going to average 22.5 points over those games, like, that's a couple hundred points towards your overall accomplishments.
Yeah.
That's your statistical resume, as it were. And why not do that? Like, again, realistically, I wake up every day and I plan to play basketball for nothing, like, for fucking zero. And I'm going to do that because that's what I want to do. And for a healthy NBA guy to just be sitting there and they're not going to let me play, if I'm Markkinen, I would just trade me now. Waive me. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here.
You would think that's what would have happened.
You would hope, if he has a pulse.
Well, that's been the show. We'll see you guys next week.